Genius Act does not concern algorithmic stablecoin, does not really concern any kind of tokenized deposit which might be held by US banks or other banks. It's just basically about issuing stablecoins. So definitely it will not be easy basically to issue a stablecoin in the US. If somebody says that Genius Act regulates cryptocurrencies or crypto assets, not necessarily true.
Last week, President Donald Trump signed the Genius Act, so regulation that establishes clear legal rules for stablecoins. Let's unpack this topic, and with that, I asked for help. We have today an expert with us, Dr. Kasia Lasota-Heller, leading legal expert in blockchain and digital assets, managing partner at Lexcellence Legal Services.
Thank you for being invited. Today, I will walk you through Genius Act. It's actually a federal act about the requirements of issuing stablecoins in the US.
So when the Genius Act will take effect, quick reminder for our viewers, it will be in 18 to 36 months. Who will be authorized to issue stablecoins under this act?
Genius Act addresses stable payments coins only, backed by traditional reserves. So Genius Act does not concern algorithmic stablecoin, does not really concern any kind of tokenized deposit which might be held by US banks or other banks. It's just basically about issuing stable coins that Agnieszka, me, or whoever can buy in order to purchase another coin which is issued on distributed ledger technology. And issuers are actually only companies who are licensed to issue stablecoin. There might be banks or credit institutions which already exist in the US. It might be unaffiliated from trust, something what is very specific to the US legislation. Other issuers might be state-allowed banks, and somebody else who just simply has a license, which you may find an abbreviation also going through internet, which is called PPSI, is Permitted Payment Stablecoin Issuers. So important thing, in order to issue stablecoin in the US, one has to have a license. The stablecoin is only a payments token, which is issued in digital form and does not concern any kind of algorithmic trading or something like that.
We are not only talking about banks that can have this license, also other types of companies may apply to get stablecoin issuers.
Yes, provided they will meet the requirements. Yes, and I think what is really important to remember that one of the biggest, let's say, challenges will be that in order to issue a stablecoin, the company issuing has to have a reserve on the balance sheet, which actually correspond with the number of issued stablecoins. So if somebody is issuing 50,000 stablecoin, it has to have 50,000 in US dollars in reserves. And those reserves, they cannot be, let's say, another crypto asset on another bank. It only can be reserved, can only be held with allowed securities in the US, meaning cash, meaning US dollars, meaning deposits which might be held by US banks. Very important. The reserves must be as liquid that they will be possible to be sold and liquidated within 93 days. So something that might be sold very swiftly, very quickly, something very secure, let's say US state bonds, something like that, or cash.
Are we about just to believe the companies that they have these reserves, or are there any requirements that the companies need to prove it anyhow?
They have to have this reserve, and not only we believe, but they actually need to provide audits and reporting on them that they're keeping them. And to my knowledge, it was every 1 month those reports must be provided. So definitely it will not be easy, basically, to issue a stablecoin in the US. It is payment stablecoin. So basically, really, if somebody says that Genius Act regulates cryptocurrencies or crypto assets, not necessarily true, because it's really only about payment stablecoin, meaning it's digital value, it's only used for payment purposes. So the purpose behind it is not investment. Very important characteristic of any stablecoin which will be issued under Genius, there must be a redemption right. So if issuer is issuing, let's say, Agnieszka stablecoin, so the issuer has to redeem it any right, meaning anytime if I have contact of them and we go to the issuer and say, listen, I want to sell them back, he needs to accept them and pay me the same nominal value back which I paid for the Agnieszka payment stablecoin. One of the reasons why we need stablecoins is if we want to buy or purchase another crypto asset, Bitcoin, Ether, or another ones, and we need them that they will be working on smart contract, on the DLT technology. We need to have a value which will be able to exchange our fiat money into something that I can call crypto money. And this is why we have those stablecoins. But what is really, really important, the stablecoin in the US only has a payment function. So Genius or stablecoin under Genius is not about real estate coins, not about any kind of securities, not about any other tokenized asset. It's only about payments.
Not everyone will be able to offer their stablecoins in the USA. How does the Act treat non-US issuers?
So firstly, if somebody even from abroad would like to issue an US stablecoin, needs to get the license like any other local issuers. That's the first situation. Second might be that the US will accept issuance from abroad, but there are also conditions, strict conditions that have to be met. Firstly, the legislation must be equivalent, similar to what we have in the US. The stablecoin must be backed by a reserve, which has to be held in the US bank, very important. And second, the redemption rights must be included. And similar legislation means there must be transparency. Second, very important condition to meet is that such issuer will be registered with comptroller office. It's not controller, it's comptroller, something that has been established in the US already in 60s, at the age of 60s, and which really supervise, let's say, monetary policy of the US. What we also may call wholesale stablecoin is a different story. It's not regulated by Genius. It's interchange between banks, and Genius does not actually apply to them. If a bank has already tokenized deposit, which has been accepted by supervising authority, the tokenized asset can stand as a reserve, as backed good behind issuance of payment stablecoin, but generally Genius does not apply to offering of a wholesale. Comparing those them, issuing a stablecoin under Genius is much easier than issuing securities in the US, will be my opinion on that. If you look directly what is actually Genius, what is stablecoin under Genius, it's nothing else that you pay to a centralized institution in order to have your reserve there, and then you can issue tokens which allows your users or your buyers to operate in decentralized matter, but still the reserves are kept by central institution. So I don't want to say there's something negative going on, but like you, Agnieszka, rightly said, this is not any kind of revolution. It's just simply getting to some kind of status quo that investment funds, issuer of stablecoin, will be regulated, and we will have more capital on the market from big investors. I think Genius Act is bringing security, is bringing a good move